It didn't start as Liv and Maddie. It started as a show that was inspired by my sister.
We actually auditioned for the show.
We did.
And
well, bits
Eric,
and pieces.
You
for
did?
Bits and
Yeah.
Pieces.
Audition for bits
We
and
had
pieces.
for
It was
bits
the
and pieces.
funniest thing.
It was.
Patty Duke show was a single camera show.
Uh-huh.
We had 4 cameras. So
Wow.
pulling off one actress playing 2 roles in a 4-camera show had never been done before.
Yeah.
Disney came to us and said, hey, you guys should do a viral song and
Yeah.
we should put it in an episode. And we were like, cool. You know, that's not how viral songs work. And in slow motion, I turned around. This is the moment I've waited for 4 seasons.
All right, guys, we are so excited to be back because we have our very good friend, Betsy Sullenger, here with us today. And she is honestly an awesome person, awesome story. We knew we wanted her on as soon as we started the show.
Yes.
Luckily, that means this episode will be totally awesome.
Yes. That's why we called it Awesome People, Awesome Stories. We really love the people we know that we get to bring on that have done some cool things. We think the whole thing is totally awesome, and
Yes.
we like to share our own stories too.
And our friend Betsy is actually an executive producer, and she executive produced the epic show Liv and Maddie,
Yes.
which is one of our favorites. We
Yeah.
love that show. And of course, she has a number of other credits that we'll get into in a little bit, but we're
Yeah.
very excited about that one. And she also has written some Hallmark movies, which I think is really
yeah,
cool.
And honestly, they're so good too.
They
I'm
are.
literally obsessed with them.
Yes, I know.
all right. Now that we've told them, let's just get into more conversation. So, hi Betsy, welcome.
Hi, Betsy.
guys.
Welcome.
Hi, Team Beigel.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit, I don't know, what is the role of an executive producer? What does that entail?
Well, an executive producer and a producer are generally the same thing.
Okay.
So basically, as a producer, I am responsible for finding the material or coming up with the idea.
Wow.
And then if I need to, finding a writer or a director and then going out and selling it to a network or a studio, casting it. You're the one person who's there from the very beginning to the very end.
Wow.
So just because people think of things like the Oscars. Somebody asked me, I think it was my mom asked me, why don't they give an Oscar for producing? And I said, they do give an Oscar for producing. It's the final Oscar of the evening, and it's called Best Picture.
There you go.
That is the producing award.
And that's because you're there from the very beginning to the very end.
Yeah.
So for instance, with Liv and Maddie was a really interesting journey because it didn't start as Liv and Maddie. It started as a show that was inspired by my sister, who's a veterinarian. And it was an animal show. By the way, we ended up making this pilot with Disney after Liv and Maddie wrapped. And it didn't get picked up. But the pilot did end up getting made. But it was a really fun family show about a family of veterinarians.
Wow.
And then by the time we were ready to sit, like all the legal stuff got done, we were ready to sit down and do the creative. They already had Dog with a Blog, and they had that iguana in Jessie.
Yes.
Oh, Mrs. Kipling.
Yes.
Yeah.
There
So
you
they
go.
didn't need an animal show. So, but by that time we had Ron and John, who were our lead writers and our showrunners, and so we had to figure out, well, what else are we gonna do now that we have a deal? Now we have to come up with the show. And we went through a couple of different iterations. One was like, what would happen if you lived on top of like the Americana, like a really cool shopping.
Oh my gosh, that would be really fun.
That's fun.
And one was a little Fresh Prince about, we called it Uncle Shaq, about what would happen if you found out that like your uncle was Shaq and you had to go
Oh my
move
gosh,
in with
just
him.
the concept of that is amazing.
so
I
fun,
would
though.
love to watch that.
By the time we landed on something, it was called, and really hardcore Liv and Maddie fans will know this, it was called Bits and Pieces. That's the
Yes.
pilot that we made. It was the same cast with the exception of Dove only played one character. She played a character named Alana.
Wow.
And it was the blending of two families over the summer. And so the other family had a daughter as well, and that was the wonderful Cozy Zulsdorf, who anybody who knows Disney will know Cozy. She's been in all kinds of stuff, but she did Freaky Friday the musical, and she's so talented.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
absolutely.
So the idea was, it was just the funniest bits and pieces of a week in a family's life.
Wow.
Okay,
I like
awesome.
that.
But it had Joey and Tenzing and Dove. It had Mom
Nice.
and Dad, and it just had the addition of Cozy. And it was I'm really proud of that show. I've had so many people ask if can you ever show us the show? And I wish that I could. I think there are probably all kinds of legal reasons that Disney can't do it.
No, I understand.
Understandable. Yeah.
But it was a really fun show, but they needed something higher concept. So we ended up sitting down with Gary Marsh, who was the president of Disney.
Uh-huh.
And he said, here's the deal. I like the show a lot. We need a bigger concept.
Uh-huh.
But I love your cast. And you
Yes.
found this girl in Dove who we've never seen before. And I just,
Wow.
sidebar, I have to tell you, it is very, very rare that you go into a casting session with the casting folks from Disney and bring anybody under 18 that they don't already know. I mean,
Wow.
if it was Kara in Seattle, they'd be like, we know Kara. We've known her since she was 6.
We've been tracking her.
Right.
Yeah.
No, and they
Yeah.
are. They're tracked like they know everybody.
Wow.
Wow, yeah.
So we just happened to bring them Dove, and that was because our casting director, Sheila Guthrie, who I worked with a bajillion years ago on a show called Cheers.
Wow. Love that shit.
Sheila cast our pilot, and she had gone to Burbank High School to a chorus performance, and she saw Dove there performing.
Wow.
She brought Dove in, and so literally we brought Dove in, and everybody at Disney is like,
Where did you find this girl?
where did you find this girl? She's incredible.
Well, and if
Yeah.
you look at what she's done with the company since Liv and Maddie, I mean, all the
Yeah,
Descendants movies that are spectacular.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they're also talented. And it's like you found them their
Just
star.
traced it
You know,
right
they're
back.
like, oh my gosh, they're like,
Yeah.
this is the next Disney
She
girl.
was just, she was the real deal.
Yeah.
And so Gary Marsh said, we love this cast. I grew up on a show, I being Gary, I grew up on a show called The Patty Duke Show. And I'm guessing a lot of people out there don't know The Patty Duke Show. But The Patty Duke Show was a really popular show, especially in the 60s, with a fantastic, I believe, Academy Award-winning actress, Patty Duke, who is the mother of Sean Astin. Some people might know Sean Astin. Patty, when she was a teenager, she did a show in which, this was the greatest concept ever, she played identical cousins.
Really?
Interesting.
And
That's
one of
funny.
them was American and one of them was British.
I love that
That's so
much.
fun.
And it had a great theme song. And he said, I've always wanted to do the Patty Duke Show. I haven't ever found an actress who I thought could pull it off. And I think you guys have found the actress who could actually play two characters. And by
that's
the way, this had
amazing.
never been done before. Patty Duke Show was a single camera show.
Uh-huh.
We had 4 cameras. So
Wow.
pulling off one actress playing 2 roles in a 4-camera show had never been done before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of lessons to learn to make it happen.
See, on our show, it's 3 cameras and it's Eric and I, and we just look alike. We're not like actual twins. We're just,
Everybody
we
just thinks you're
everyone
twins.
just
There
thinks
you
we're
go.
twins. And we have 3 cameras instead of, and we're at a desk. So it's like a lot.
Yeah, a
Liv
lot
and Maddie-
different.
Liv and Maddie was probably much harder. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that.
We ended up getting the hang of it, and it became easier. But we had 2 months to. This was after 2 years from when we sold the show.
Right.
Right.
We had now had 2 months to take our cast and put them into an entirely new concept.
Oh my gosh.
And we had to hand in a script that was ready to go in 2 months. So it was a very, very high degree of difficulty.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stress involved. But what was interesting, and I always tell this to young actors who are trying to figure out how to build characters.
Yeah.
we went to our actors, we went to Dove, and we were like, here's the deal. You're no longer playing Alana. Now you're playing 2 characters. They're identical twins. We're not sure what their names are yet, but we know that one of them is an actress who's returning home from Hollywood, and the other is sporty in some way, but we don't know what she's going to be doing.
Wow.
We were still trying to figure out the sport. And so we were like, just go and start thinking about it.
Yeah.
And Dove I think she got 2 different journals.
Uh-huh.
And she journaled for what became Liv and what became Maddie.
Wow.
And once we told her that backstory of Liv, when she was, let's say, 10, went off to live with her aunt in California. She left her family. She left her best friend and sister. And she's had this incredible life. And now she's coming back home and she has to figure out how to fit in now to a world that has gone on without her. And there's a great moment in the pilot where everybody's sitting around the kitchen table and there's not a chair for Liv because they're so used to being without Liv. It's such a small thing, but it's like she's such an outsider. And then for Maddie, you have had this sister who is kind of larger than life, and she's gone off, and she's had, the sunlight on her.
Yes.
And you've had the sunlight on you because she's been gone, and now she's coming back.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there is there's a great line in the pilot where it's in one of the cutaways, and Maddie says, "We're identical twins, but she's the pretty one."
I love that line. It cracks me up every time. And it's so real in
And it's
some way.
so real.
Yeah.
It's so real.
Absolutely.
And so you have these 2 girls who love each other, but have figured out how to live apart. And now they have to figure out how to live together again and how to be really different and look exactly alike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's honestly like the perfect premise for a series because you get season arcs and seasons that you get to explore the relationship and watch it grow together and different moments that happen. And it leaves it open for as many episodes as you want to make these siblings that now, get to live together.
Yeah, there's so
or
many
back.
layers, and you guys did a really good job covering them in the show, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, we had first of all, we had the 2 boys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the big concern for Disney was you're going to have 2 girls on the poster. So we know we're going to get the girls,
Right.
but how are we going to get the boys? And so we had Joey, who
Right.
was really funny
Yeah.
and was wildly awkward. And by the way, in Bits and Pieces, the pilot that we did, Joey played a character named Sticky. And Sticky was also awkward and was always going through he had a goth phase where he was all gothed out. Like he was just trying to find himself, as I think a lot of teenagers do.
Yes.
And the truth was, Joey Bragg, who came to us when he was 15, he had been a stand-up comedian, and he had opened for people like Tim Allen,
wow.
Dane Cook. Like, he had been a real stand-up.
Wow.
And he was 15 years old, and we just realized we can't write anything funnier than Joey Bragg.
Yes.
Wow.
So once we became Liv and Maddie, we turned Sticky into Joey. And Ron and John just basically wrote Joey because
I love that he's named Joey.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
it was just we couldn't name him anything else because they were just writing Joey because Joey is just naturally funny.
Yes. I knew he was a stand-up by the end of the show. I didn't realize he came to you guys as a stand-up comedian.
Yeah, and in fact, I always wanted to do an episode of him doing stand-up, and we weren't able to do it. Disney, for whatever reason, wouldn't sign off on it until the 4th season, the final season. And because I had fought so hard for it, Ron and John came to me and said, "You have to write this episode. You're the
awesome.
one. You're the one who fought the fight." And I wrote the episode with the exception of Joey wrote his own stand-up
Yes.
in
of
the
course.
episode
good.
because
That's
there was
good.
no way I was going to try to write Joey's stand-up.
Oh, yeah. You're like, here, this is your moment to do stand-up. I'm not going to tell you what to say.
Right,
as your
like-
stand-up.
right.
You've been
Yeah.
with this character a long time. You know stand-up and all the elements. definitely something he could do.
Yes, and he knew what he was also. He knew his strengths. Like stand-up comedy. Your voice is a very very specific thing, and I would never try to write somebody else's stand-up. But then we also had Parker. We had Tenzing, who was just when we hired him, Tenzing was so quiet.
Yeah.
And on the show, like Parker's our big energy.
Yeah.
He's our big energy.
He's that little brother that in most Disney shows has that big energy, that larger than life.
And Parker, Tenzing. Tenzing, I always thought if our show had an MVP, week after week, it was Tenzing. He started with us when he was 8.
Wow.
And he just was so funny from the very beginning. And we were all a little in awe of him. Like, I think because he was so quiet.
Right.
And he didn't give you a lot. He and Joey got on really, really well. But for all the rest of us, he was so quiet that for the entirety of the show, we would all kind of secretly admit to one another behind the scenes, like, really, all I want is for Tenzing to think that I'm cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
I love that so much.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
One of my favorite moments was in the, I forget, it was the 3rd or 4th season. I wrote an episode where I got to write Parker's first date with Val, with
Yes.
Chloe East.
Yes.
Is that like the science fair, right?
That was the boom.
scene?
Yeah.
That's a cute episode.
That was the dance, and I got to write this episode that he's getting older, and in fact, he and Liv have this really great conversation that's about him kind of growing up.
Yeah.
And it's sort of the first time we acknowledged that, and it was kind of emotional. It was a little bit emotional too.
Yeah.
Like it was fun, but it was like we're watching this kid who's kind of our family, and he's becoming an adult. And truly, one of my favorite moments was we did our producer run through, which is done 2 days before you start shooting,
Oh, cool.
and it went great. And I'm one of the last people leaving the set to go back up to the writer's room, and you guys.
I'm so ready.
I just heard Tenzing from across the stage go, "Betsy!" And it was like the world stopped.
I was like, wait.
And in slow motion, I turned around.
Am I cool? I was like,
This is the moment I've waited for 4 seasons.
wow.
And he runs up to me and he gives me a hug and he said, "I just wanted to say thank you. This is my favorite episode that we've ever done.
What?
And I love
Aw.
everything that I get to do in it." And
Aw.
it meant so much to me that he said that, but really it meant so much to me that he knew my name.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Oh man, I love that.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's so sweet.
That's such a cute story.
That's such a unique kind of story of the show from any end, whether it's like the twin dynamic or most people that are trying to sell like Disney on the story that they have, and for you guys, they're like, we like the cast but make a new story, right? So you kind of had a different dynamic to push forward, and only having 2 months is incredible because there's so many good dynamics in that show.
I'm not sure that's ever. I don't know if anybody has ever been able to put a show together in 2 months. I mean,
Yeah.
fortunately, our casting was done.
Right.
Yeah.
But everything else was created out of nothing, and Disney was very nice. They didn't make us do a pilot,
Oh, wow. That is a big
which
deal.
is
Yeah.
lovely.
Yeah.
But we were doing something that's never been done in the history of television,
Right.
and we kind of needed a pilot
Yeah.
for it.
Okay.
We actually shot the second episode first.
Oh, yeah.
Because we knew that we had a lot of lessons to learn, and we didn't want all the eyeballs to be on our lesson episode.
Yes.
So we
Yes.
thought we'll shoot the first episode second, so we know a few more things. And then we just had an incredible supporting cast as well, with Jess Garcia and Jimmy Bellinger and Ryan and Kurt Long, Johnny Nimbus, and it was a great cast. Those kids are all still really good friends. Like they're in each other's weddings. Like it's,
Aw.
That's
if
so
you go
sweet.
on Instagram on any given day,
Uh-huh.
you're going to see any number of them together in
Nice.
pictures
Yeah.
because
That
they
is
go
so
camping
cool.
together, they do all kinds of stuff. So I feel like Liv and Maddie lives on through the people who
Yeah.
were in
Yeah,
Liv and Maddie.
like you still have that family dynamic, like just between the cast. I mean, you spend so much like quality time with people on these productions that
Yeah.
by the end you really are your own little family, you know, and
Yeah.
you really are. It's like the
Yeah.
Liv and Maddie family,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I think from the very beginning, you know, there are so many stories that come out of kids who grow up in television and it doesn't always
Yeah.
end great.
Right.
And so Ron and John and Andy and I, who were kind of the foursome who together kind of created the show,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
we kind of said from day one, we want to make a great show, but maybe even more importantly, we want to create an environment on our set that's healthy and
Yeah.
happy. And by the time we're done, however many seasons that is, we want to send these kids back out into the world better than they came.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
That's
know, like
incredible.
ready to take on the world. And so, as much as their parents were often around, we kind of all felt like the surrogate parents. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Dove always called me her other mother
Aw.
because whenever her mom wasn't right there, I was usually
Yeah.
around. And we all kind of took on the surrogate parent role. And that was really important to us.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean,
For
that's
sure.
that comfort and safety and joy that they feel comes through in the show.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see when you're watching it, I mean, how believable of a family they are and how comfortable they are with each other and
Yeah.
how much fun they're actually having on set and with each other. And so it makes your products better and it makes your show better. And then you get to have this amazing family at the end as well. But I think it's an important part of the process that can't be neglected because if you're not having a good time on set, you can tell in the production.
Yeah.
And so I think it's so important that you guys made that such an important part of like when you were building the show. That was such an important part.
Yeah.
Well, and it's really interesting because as a fan of all these different TV shows and projects, you see casts come together and then leave and go their separate ways. And it's happens pretty frequently. And you always kind of want to think they still hang out, but they're not very open about it.
Right.
So it's nice to see a cast that's still together as a family, even after the
Yeah.
project is over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
that
Yeah.
is nice. And it's hard. I've made a lot of comedies,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really hard to make a funny show or a funny movie if you don't have a fun set.
Yes. No,
that translate. That shows
So
up.
believable. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. That is
That's
so
fun.
true.
That's so cool that I guess like the four of you kind of knew that going in, right? You're like, we have like the fact that you made that decision and kind of we're all four collectively interested in that is just incredible. And it's so cool that then it worked. You know, you set it out.
Well,
and
you
then
know,
it
we
just
were all
worked.
parents, and we felt like if any one of these kids were our kids, we would want whoever is in our position to make sure that they're well cared for.
Yes. No, absolutely. That is so
Yeah,
awesome.
That's truly incredible. Just kind of like you mentioned, where there's so many other stories you start to hear where things maybe didn't go as well. And so having one like this that's just went so well is kind of comforting as a viewer to know that like there was just one big happy family.
It
that
was
made this
one big
show.
happy family. It really
Yeah.
was.
What's so
Yeah.
funny to me is whenever I think about the show, I think about the two sisters and the two brothers. And even now talking to you, I'm like picturing, oh yeah, the four of them hang out all the time.
Oh,
And I'm
yeah.
like, no, it's three of them. Three of them. And it's so funny.
So we, you know, when Gary Marsh said to us, "Do you think you could do the Patty Duke show in a multicam show?"
Yeah.
Andy directed half of our episodes and was an EP, and we've been partnered for a long time. And Andy and I come out of theater, and so you know the answer is always yes. We weren't sure
Yeah.
how, but we knew there was a way of doing it.
Yes.
And you can do green screen, but not with young actors. It's not a great idea to do green screen. That's really unfair to ask somebody to do that and to be funny at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
So we
Right.
kind of came up with a hypothesis that fortunately worked. And we decided that we would have two body doubles who were also actresses.
Nice.
Because Dove needed somebody, Dove, when we got her, was 15.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she needed somebody to work off of. I don't think she'd ever really done multicam.
Right.
So I
Right.
think she'd done a guest star on something.
Okay.
And so she needed 2 actors to work off of.
Right.
And they needed to be her same height and her skin color and all of those things.
They need to look like her in some way.
They need to, their bodies at least need, and if as much profile as we can get,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
as much as we can cheat that. And then the rest of it worked in wigs. And we had the Renata, who has since passed away, but she was the best wig maker. She does all the Broadway wigs. And
Wow.
and so we got Renata to make wigs for us, and we hired Shelby and Emmy, and Shelby was always Maddie
Okay.
when Dove was Liv, and Emmy was always Liv when Dove was Maddie.
Perfect.
So
That's
now
amazing.
think about this. If you're Dove, I think by the time we were making this, she was 16. So she's 16 years old. She hasn't done a lot.
Right.
We found her in a high school show.
Like talent show. Yeah. Literally.
She did a pilot. She's no longer that character. Now she's 2 characters in a format that's never been done before in history.
Yeah.
She has to be very specific how she stands and not to move. You can never go into the frame of either Shelby or Emmy when you're Dove.
Yeah.
Wow.
And in every episode, for the first season, Disney wanted us to have at least 1 twin scene in every episode so that the audience could get, just became really, really familiar with this is a twin show.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So in every episode, she had to know 2 sets of lines and 2 sets of blocking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she would do a scene as, let's say, Liv. And we would get everything from that scene. And then she would run into hair and makeup and wardrobe.
Right.
They would change her clothes. They would change the wig. And change, there were certain, like, Liv had nails and Maddie didn't.
Right,
And,
right.
eyelashes
Yeah.
and things like that. We got it down to about 20 minutes.
That's good
Wow.
though.
Which
That's
is pretty
amazing.
good. And
Yeah.
Dove did something very smart.
Uh-huh.
She came up with, because she just wanted to be in music while they were doing it. So she came up with a playlist for Liv, and she came up with a playlist for Maddie.
Perfect.
So whenever she was in the chair getting into Liv, she would put in Liv's music and get into Liv's headspace.
Yes.
And then she'd come back out, and she would have to do the exact opposite
Wow.
of the scene that she had just done. And sometimes, in multicam, the pages change every day. So we have a table read. Let's say you're a Monday to Friday show. We have a
Right.
table read on Monday morning. Everybody comes in Monday morning. Based on how the table read goes and hearing it out loud, we then do a rewrite. And then on Tuesday afternoon, we do a producer run through so we can see how are all of the changes working.
Right.
So
Right.
they've gotten new pages by the time they've come in on Tuesday morning. Then based on how the Tuesday afternoon producer run through goes, they're going to get a new set of pages. They're going to spend Wednesday morning, rehearsing that and getting to know that. And then Wednesday afternoon, the network comes in. The network could blow the entire thing up.
Yeah.
And that has happened. Fortunately, it doesn't happen a lot. But that has happened. So by the time they come in Thursday to shoot, because they shoot Thursday and then Friday are audience nights, they've gone through so many different versions of the story. And Dove had to be on it. She had to know all the pages. I think she has something like a photographic memory.
Oh,
Yeah, she
well, you
must-
have to,
yeah.
especially
at that point.
No, I
Yeah.
think for real she does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because she was able to, you have to do the thing and then you have to do the reverse of the thing.
Right.
Right.
That's crazy.
And
man.
you're learning all this, you're learning how to do a multicam show, which
Yeah.
we've had guest stars who did incredibly successful, iconic single camera comedies and would come to do a multicam having never done a multicam before. It's a very different thing.
Yes.
And it can throw off people who are not used to it.
Yes.
Because you have to know kind of what camera to play things to.
Uh-huh.
It's just a very different thing. And so it was a lot of learning on the fly.
Yes.
But then to do all of it knowing you can't reach your hand like this. Like
Right.
Yeah.
you
Well,
have
and
to be
How would like a
contained.
hug work, right? Going in for a hug? Because I know that they
She
hug
would
in the
hug-
show.
Yeah.
You said like Shelby and Emmy, so she would hug them, right?
So whenever you see Dove's face in somebody else's back, that back is either Ron and John started. I hate this term, but Ron and John started calling them backtresses because Shelby and Emmy was we would always see their back. And by the way, I would just like to say because Shelby and Emmy are both so freaking talented.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shelby and Emmy did an episode called Linda and Heather, which was the show. It's a show
Yes.
within a show that Parker was obsessed with.
Yes.
There is a somewhat iconic theme song.
Yup.
Oh.
For
Glitter,
sure.
glitter, glitter, girls, girls, girls. And
Yeah.
it became this
Forever,
TikTok
Linda and
sensation.
Best friends.
Yes, exactly.
I know it.
That's it.
Oh yeah, TikTok sensation. We made
Yeah.
TikToks to that. It
Oh
was
yeah,
so good.
so many.
So I mean,
lot
the
of them are in
Kardashians
drafts.
were doing TikToks
Yeah.
to that. It was crazy.
I didn't even realize at first when it was a TikTok trend that it was from Liv and Maddie, but I knew it was familiar. And then I saw the episode and I'm like, that's where that's from.
Yeah, it was so funny.
So funny that it was like insanely viral on
Yeah.
TikTok, like insanely viral.
It was, and it's just nuts that all of a sudden you're like, this was done during the pandemic. So I think
Yes.
people were just inside, like watching stuff that they've
Right.
seen before, like
Yeah.
comfort watching. And so it started when everybody's stuck inside together. I have to tell you, I just got a TikTok I'm not on TikTok, but people send me TikToks.
Yeah.
I just got a TikTok. There was a high school choir, like a huge choir, like maybe 50 people in it.
Wow.
They were singing the Froyo YOLO song, which is
man.
barely a song.
Yeah.
Gosh. I have not seen that, but I need to go look
So
that up. That's
Ron
amazing.
wrote. So Disney told us we want to do. It's when the song "What Does the Fox Say?"
Oh yeah.
Right?
yeah.
Yep.
So when that became viral, Disney came to us and said, "Hey, you guys should do a viral song, and
Yeah.
we should put it in an episode." And we were like, "Cool." You know, that's not how viral songs work. Like,
Right.
usually you just do the song and then it becomes viral.
Right.
So trying to be the architect
Of
of
a
a
viral
song
song.
that's meant to be a viral song was a little tricky. And so Ron and John just decided, we have to write the most ridiculous thing we can possibly think of.
That's
yeah.
what does the fox say is absolutely ridiculous.
It makes absolutely not a lick of sense.
so good though.
And Ron shows up one day and says, I got it. And he wrote the Froyo YOLO song that, once again, doesn't make a lick of sense.
Yeah.
And
Oh, man.
we did a video. At the time, Andy, who was directing the episode, Andy was also directing a show that has become a worldwide sensation called Heathers, which
Oh, yeah.
started
Oh, yeah.
at a little theater here in LA down the street from where we were shooting. Andy was the director of that. So we brought in all of the Heathers cast, which included Ryan, who was the male lead of Heathers
Yeah.
the musical when it was here in LA. All of them, and then our entire cast, and it was the dumbest thing. We literally were thinking, like, what is the stupidest stuff that we like?
Yeah.
What visually makes absolutely no sense?
yes.
Yeah.
And that's how we're gonna make this viral.
And sometimes you're just like, how is this my job?
Yeah.
Where I'm just
Yes.
coming up with the dumbest stuff I can possibly imagine.
Yeah.
And we created this absolutely ridiculous
Uh-huh.
music video.
yeah. Oh
And-
yeah.
But
absolutely.
apparently it was, we hit in some kids' formative years just
Yes.
enough.
Yes.
that-
there's
what
a
is
50 piece
it?
choir.
Yeah,
that's
like a
singing it.
decade later, the high school choir is doing
Yeah.
the Froyo. And by the way, they are so into it.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not like
They're
they're just
taking it so
doing
seriously.
this.
No.
They are like their whole body, like it is pure joy how they're doing the froyo. And we were just all, Ron and John and Andy and I were all passing it back and forth to each other.
Or
Like,
you have to see this.
how
Oh
is
my
how is
gosh.
this? How is a high school music teacher convinced
Wow.
that this was the song that they needed to do for their parents?
That's great. We're gonna put this clip on social media, and we're gonna put their video in it, and they're gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, that's the executive producer that saw our video. They talked about it on their podcast."
They did great, and they made us all so happy. Just like all these years later, that they thought to do this. That's a lot of time and effort
yeah.
and
Yeah.
rehearsal that goes into that.
Yeah,
and they did a great job, and it just brought us so much joy.
Oh yeah,
Oh, I love that.
for Froyo Yolo.
For Froyo,
Froyo,
which
yeah.
by the way should never really be heard again.
Well, and you even had like again the Linda and Heather. You had another like viral song.
Linda and Heather is a great.
Yes.
It's a great theme song
Yes,
for
it
a
is.
show called Linda and Heather.
It really
Yeah.
is.
It
That
is.
one, I think Ron and John did that one, and they knocked it out of the
Oh
park.
yeah, they're like,
I
we
do love
instantly knew
Linda
that
and
this
Heather.
one was gonna be
Yeah.
gonna be viral. It's so funny though. There's one you work hard to go viral, and one that it just happens, you know.
Yeah.
And how many years later too is
Yeah.
what's so interesting.
Yes, like a decade later.
Yeah,
Which is
yeah.
really hard to believe.
We
Yeah.
had our friend Steve Anderson on the show who worked on Emperor's New Groove, and it was what they considered a failure when it came out, and now like with people our age, it's like our favorite.
We're
movie.
obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
it's
obsessed with
celebrating
it.
its 25th anniversary this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the first time we ever talked to him was because he overheard us saying how much we loved Emperor's New Groove. And he's like, "Did you just say you liked Emperor?" And it was like, he never heard anyone ever say that
He's
before.
like, really?
It's like,
Emperor's
I
New
swear.
Groove?
Yeah. And it's just so funny how so many years later something can become like that popular or like resonate with the right audience, you know? And
Yes.
it's kind of cool. Like those kids that watched Froyo Yolo are now in a choir and are like, we're going to make this.
God
Yeah.
bless them.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, that,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's so fun.
That just gets better and better the longer the story went. It just kept getting better that the choir sang it.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I have to laugh at something that went through my mind. So you kept mentioning the twin dynamic that had never been done before on
Yeah.
the multi-camera, and I was just sitting here. I was like, "Why does it sound familiar?" And I was like, "Oh, Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. There were twins there, but they were twins
But
in
they were
real life."
actually
They were really twins.
And it, like,
Exactly.
it totally like skipped my mind because I was like, "I swear I've seen twins." I was like, "Oh, Sweet Life," and I was like, "Wait,
Wait.
they had twins to work with."
That was Cole
two
and
different
Dylan's
people.
friends.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
2 people.
That's easier.
Yes.
That's a lot
That's a lot
easier.
easier. Sorry, it just like during one of your stories, it hit me. You can probably like on camera see it in my face. Where I was like, "Oh, there were twins," but
Yeah,
I
Eric's like,
just-
what do you mean? It's like I remember watching a twin show on Disney before.
Yeah, we ended up getting brave. We started, our editor, Chris Poulos, he always got like a really skinny piece of black electrical tape. And when we were shooting in, your A camera is always your master camera where you
Yeah.
kind of get the full shot. And Poulos would put the tape in between, and for any Liv and Maddie scene, he would put it there. And we had to make sure that neither actress ever crossed the tape.
Wow.
And-
That's smart.
Yeah, and I mean, there was, in rehearsal, it was like, you have to step back one step. Like,
Yeah.
it was, but then as we got kind of brave and we got the hang of it,
Season
we would
4,
start,
yeah.
I think by like end of season 2 or season 3, we would start getting brave and like cross paths. And it
Yeah.
was like, we would get really proud. Like, that was
Wow.
a big,
Yeah.
little inside baseball, but we would get really proud of ourselves.
We're like, hey, look
but-
at how close they walk to each other right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, we crossed the line.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it still looks real.
Totally.
And it still looks good. That's
Yeah.
great. And it's a fun piece of insider score because we actually auditioned for the show.
We did.
And
Well, bits
Eric,
and pieces.
You
for
did?
bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Audition for bits
We
and
had
pieces.
for
It
bits
was
and
the funniest
pieces.
thing.
It was.
Was the little brother? Was it Brody? Was there a character?
Brody, I think you're right.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
auditioning, and Sticky was my older brother. So when
Uh-huh.
you said
Yes.
bits
And
pieces,
I did the
that-
sticky line. It was Eric's audition, but I memorized all the sticky lines. So I'm like, oh, I was
my
helping everyone
gosh.
with
Sticky
sticky.
ran scenes with me.
Yeah, and it was
so-
Yeah.
long before we knew you, but we
Yeah.
auditioned
I
for
had
bits and
no. You
pieces.
guys never told me you auditioned.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
we
no,
did.
I
It
don't
was-
think we ever did.
It was
but-
so long, not to be crazy, it was like so long before we even knew you that
Yeah.
I guess we just never, like, I forgot I auditioned for it until,
Yeah, we were
probably
going
like
through our
a year
audition
ago.
bag, and he found the script. He's like, oh yeah,
I
bits
found
and
like
pieces.
a piece of it. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah,
So
and that's so
there's a
cool.
little-
So I mean,
yeah.
yeah, Yeah, it's pretty funny. Little insider's lore that like
A little,
we auditioned for that one too.
yeah, a little bit of our family history.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
fun.
it's pretty fun.
It was fun.
So, how do you become like an executive producer? Like if somebody's watching, be like, I want to executive produce a Disney show.
Yeah, like
What-
where would they start? Where did you start?
How does?
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not
I
linear.
guess like what led
but
up to being executive.
I'm just curious,
producer?
how will you even, like? How do you get there? You know?
Well, both the blessing and the curse of this industry is that there is no one way to do anything. It's
Yeah.
not like I want to be a lawyer and so you know what all the steps along the way are, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
how did you become the insiders? Like,
Yeah,
you know,
that's
it
not
is.
I
linear
ask
at
myself
all.
that a
It's
lot.
a path that does this, and it's not one that you could ever like sit down and design yourself.
Yeah.
But I worked in comedy. I was a writer's assistant, which means I was in the room with comedy writers on a couple of TV shows.
Nice.
And then I decided I really wanted to work in film. I'd moved out here because I wanted to learn how to make movies.
Yeah.
So I got an assistant job
Oh, that's
at
cool.
a company, and the first movie I ever worked on right when I got there was a giant snake movie called Anaconda.
Yes.
And
so fun.
that's another one of those moments in your life where you think, how did I end up in this job? Because the job with Anaconda is cool snake kills, and
Oh,
you're
yeah.
literally sitting around like a conference room table
Wow.
with writers trying to come up with cool snake kills. And,
You're like, maybe the snake could like do this or like.
in the world of no idea is a bad idea, there were a lot of bad ideas
Oh,
that
yeah.
were thrown
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
I mean, when you throw in a giant snake, I can see there being bad ideas.
Tons.
Yeah, my favorite was, this one never got made, but the snake in a McDonald's, one of the playgrounds where they have
Yeah.
the ball pit.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
the covered slide and everything. Like, there's a lot of cool things you can do with the snake there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I learned on that film, and I gradually moved my way up the ranks as an executive. But most importantly, I met Andy at that job. He was an executive. He's much older than I am, and he was.
We'll clip that and send it to him.
He was the executive who actually hired me. I wasn't working for him, but and he and I just instantly hit it off. And we were executives for a long time, and then he was we would work like 9 to 7.
Yeah.
And then at 7, he would go to the theater, and he would always have something that he was directing. And one of his shows that he was directing became a big hit here in town called Reefer Madness,
Oh yeah.
which then went to off-Broadway and then became a movie. And Disney ended up offering us a deal
Yeah.
to make movies for Disney. His first film for Disney that he directed was called The Game Plan.
Yes. Oh,
We
such
love
a
The
good.
Game Plan.
We literally watched it like a week ago, and it's like it's such a comfort
Holds
movie.
up.
It
Yeah,
really
it
is.
still holds
It
up.
does hold up. It's
Yeah.
a really good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And from there, he did She's the Man, another great film.
Another great one.
So our boss had retired, and soon after that, we were offered a deal to make movies at Disney. So
Yeah.
we
Nice.
moved into the old animation building,
Oh.
which was a
Nice.
lot of fun. It's like being in college in like the coolest dorm imaginable. Like
is
down
so
the hall
awesome.
from us. Across from the hall from us was Forrest Whitaker, and then down the hall from us was Miley Cyrus, and she was right across from Stan Lee.
Wow, that is-
Wow.
And then
That is
upstairs
awesome.
was Tim Allen.
That
like
is so
it was
good.
just, it was a who's who of
Yeah.
Yeah.
people.
Walking the halls, like I would never leave the water coolers. Be like, so, you know.
It was so much fun. At one point, I was friends with the folks from Miley's company, and Miley was convinced that there was a ghost in her office. And I had been over at their offices, and Andy happens to be like an amateur ghost hunter. And he's
I believe that.
I did know that about
He's
him.
bought all of the equipment. He watches every ghost hunting show, but
What a perfect storm.
he has gone down the rabbit hole and he has bought all of the equipment.
Yes.
And so I was like, oh, I know how to tell if there's a ghost
Oh,
in
yeah.
here. And Andy and I come in with like the briefcase of all of the suitcases of equipment.
That's amazing.
And
Oh
we're
my
walking around
gosh.
because they're like, Miley says the door always shuts by itself, and then over here there's a cold spot, and so we're literally walking around like gauging the temperature. And
You
it
walk in,
was-
you're like, you are correct. We did detect a ghost. You're like, have a good day. We're out of here.
move out now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's like we're not going to do anything with this one because it's on Disney property. So good luck with that knowledge.
It might be a really important ghost.
Exactly.
It could be Walt.
Yeah,
There
you
you
never
go.
know.
We don't
Could
know.
be.
You don't.
We
You
never
don't.
know. It could be.
We
It's
can't
the
prove
old
that it's
animation
not.
building. It could be anybody.
It could
be anybody at the
absolutely
old
be
animation.
anybody.
Yeah, that's awesome. We got
That's
a tour
hilarious.
of that building just a few weeks ago, and it was so funny because as we were standing there, we're like, are we anywhere near Betsy's office? We were probably like right there.
Yeah.
We probably were.
Because we were in the hallways of the old animation building. We were like, I wonder which
Yeah.
one of these
Well,
is Betsy's.
We did get to go to every floor, so we definitely.
We definitely were.
Definitely at one point we were
At one
close to your
point, because
office,
we were
yeah.
literally everywhere in the building.
Did you go to Walt's old apartment?
It was closed.
It was closed.
so we walked all the way up to the door, but we didn't
Okay.
get to go
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
So
We did not get to go.
in the future, we'll make it to Walt's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I
Walt's
tell you
office.
about going into Walt's old apartment?
No.
No.
So
And is it like in like his office, like there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's on the third floor, and it's kind of on the end of the hall, kind of on a corner. And Andy and I were having lunch. Our agent had set us up with Sean Cassidy, who I grew up loving. Sean
Oh,
Cassidy.
yeah.
And
I love
Sean
Sean
Cassidy went from being like this massive teen idol who was on everybody's walls
Yeah.
to he became this really interesting writer, and he created a show where everybody found Heath Ledger for the very first time called Roar. He's created some incredible shows, and we're having lunch with him, and Andy has to go to a phone call, and so Sean says, you have to come into my office. I got Walt's old office. Wow. And
Whoa,
he
wait.
had an overall deal at ABC. And so, and you know, Sean Cassidy's mom is Shirley Jones, who was the mom in the Partridge Family. His
Yeah.
father was a famous actor. And so he comes from this, you know, iconic
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hollywood family.
Hollywood family.
Yeah, for
Partridge
sure.
Family
And he
is
has
the
a
best.
real appreciation for Hollywood history.
Wow.
So we go in, and it really is a full-on apartment, because apparently there were nights when Walt was not able to get into a car and go home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he needed a bedroom and a living room and a kitchen, you know, and he had a massive office. And Sean did the most interesting thing. You would walk into, like, for instance, I went straight into the kitchen,
Right.
and there's this big, beautiful 8x10 black and white framed photo in the kitchen. And so, of course, what you do, you go and you stand right in front of the photo and
Yeah.
you look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was Walt Disney standing at the exact same spot I was standing in the kitchen.
Wow.
And he had those photos all over, like in Walt's office.
So cool.
Everywhere he just went into the archives and he
Yeah.
said, what do you have of Walt in these
the-
offices? And then he figured out where they were taken, and he would frame them and he would put them in that exact same spot. And it was really, really cool.
That is so awesome.
I hope
really
they left
is.
it
That
up there.
is so
He's not
awesome.
still in those offices, but I would like to think that somebody left those pictures up.
Oh,
I would
yeah.
love-
Oh,
yeah.
We someday we're gonna get a tour
Yes.
of it, and then we will let you know
We'll
if those
look.
pictures.
If the
That is
pictures
so
I
are
hope
cool.
that, because it's a really cool idea. Like when you're
Yeah.
standing, you're like, oh my gosh, Walt was standing right here.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so cool.
And when we were looking, we were talking to somebody who was giving the tour when we did our tour of the animation studio. They talked about Walt's stuff was preserved when he died. They preserved everything in it. So when you go into his office, it is set up the way that Walt had his office set up. So they archived everything in there. So when you're in there, all of the like pieces of paper, I don't actually even know what's in there, but all the stuff that's in the office is what was actually in Walt's office.
Yeah, like according to them, it was preserved. So
Yeah.
fingers crossed that photo would still
Yeah.
be there.
Yeah,
But-
yeah, yeah.
But then it's not. it's not like it's recreated, right? It's not like they like bought duplicates or anything. It's like that's what
Right.
was actually
Right.
in his
If you
office.
see
Oh,
his
that's
desk,
awesome.
that is his desk.
That's his desk.
The pen, that's the pen he used.
Right.
All of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. That's what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say.
Yeah, preserved, not recreated, but
Yeah,
like, it should
preserved,
be,
not
like, the
recreated.
Actual,
Yeah.
actual stuff. So
That's a fantastic story.
That's
I
incredible.
I can't believe I've never heard that story.
Yeah.
That
Oh my
is
gosh, I love that.
amazing.
we're like 1 for 1 now because we'd never heard that story and Betsy didn't
And
know.
I didn't know that you auditioned.
for bits and
Yeah,
pieces.
for bits and
There you
pieces.
go.
Yeah, we're 1 for 1. We're
There you
even.
go.
This is
Yeah.
why we do this because no matter how long we've known you, we'll find out new things.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So that's got to be such a cool moment, like being on Disney every single day. But I want to know, what was like your first aha moment? Oh my goodness, I'm making movies.
Yeah, like
I'm living
kind of
the
a-
dream.
Like I can't believe this is my life, or like maybe you already told us just based on like the Liv and Maddie pieces.
Mine
Yeah.
would be standing in Walt's office. That
Yeah,
would be
well-
like, what? But, I mean, we're talking about yours,
Yeah.
not mine. So,
Mine came before that.
okay.
Okay.
Mine was my favorite thing whenever we have a new TV show. There's a period of weeks, couple of weeks, where construction goes into the stage and they start building your set.
Yeah.
And we've had the blueprints, we've gone through, all of the design stuff between the production designer and Disney in this case. And my favorite thing is like during lunch, I would go in and I would just kind of walk around and watch them. And I would take, every once in a while, I'll post pictures of it. But it's like my favorite moment of just being on a set that isn't a set yet. And you're watching it go up, like here come the stairs and here come the walls and here comes the kitchen.
Wow.
And that's like the magic moment
Yeah.
of this is a thing that we've been talking about for so long, and it's finally happening.
You're watching the words on the page come to life, right? And you're like,
Yeah.
this vision you've had of like their like the aesthetic of their house and their couch and their kitchen, and now it's all real, right? And now you have actors standing in
Yeah.
there in
Yeah.
the house, and you have the crew there, and yeah, I know that. I mean, that would get me on any production. It would just be so cool to
Yeah.
like see it all come to be, but especially the first time you're ever experiencing that happen, it's got to be like amazing.
By the time we shot the first episode of Liv and Maddie, it was 2.5 years from when Andy and I sold it at a lunch
wow.
at the Disney Rotunda. And it was 2.5 years later before we shot the first episode of what actually was Liv and Maddie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so there are, countless hours
Yeah.
of discussion of what kind of house is it going to be, and what city are they going to live in, and what's their name going to be,
Right.
and all of those, so when you see it finally start to go from just ideas and conversations into something real,
Yeah.
it's very cool.
That was
Oh, yeah.
incredible.
that
Something
sounds awesome.
tangible, and there must have been just so many cool moments. I think, like, because you were working on a sitcom, you got a table read every week and got to like go in and see
Yeah.
the sets. There must have been so many cool moments like that where something came to life in different phases, and then you kind of got to see the progression every week because you made like one episode per week, right?
We made an episode per week. Yeah, absolutely. And we had so many, I feel like, great story arcs and character arcs. One of my favorite little, I don't know if it would be considered an Easter egg, but something that's very specific to me and Liv and Maddie.
Yay.
One of the hardest parts of, this is ridiculous, one of the hardest parts of doing something, whether it's a film or a TV show, is figuring out the names of things.
Yes.
Oh.
Because you have to clear every name. And if there's another Carabigal who lives in Los Angeles, then you can't use Carabigal because that becomes a whole thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
You have this like
we-
unintentional like cinematic universe that you don't really
Yes.
want because you name something the same, you know?
So when we were Bits and Pieces, we had two families, mom and dad, who you now know as the parents of Liv and Maddie, but they were just getting married. They both lost their spouses, and they were both getting married. And so we had two families coming together, and John Beck and I, John Beck, one of the creators, John and I are fans of rival football teams in
Oh,
the
wow.
same division.
Wow.
So I'm a lifelong, hardcore Steeler fan.
Yes.
And Beck, bless his heart, is a lifelong Browns fan.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
man.
I'm sorry
I'm
for
sorry.
him.
Oh,
I
That's gotta be
know,
rough.
right?
We're lifelong Commanders fans, as you know.
Yeah, but
Yes.
at least
But-
you guys are making a comeback.
We are making-
Exactly, yeah.
It's been very nice.
We're
be
doing
a-
something.
To be a Browns fan is tough.
Yeah.
That's so
So
tough.
John thought it would be funny if
Uh-huh.
the name of the families were the Browns and the Rooneys, because the Rooney family owns the Steelers.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So then we were no longer bits and pieces. We were no longer two families coming together, and the Browns was a less interesting name. And so we became the Rooneys because
I love
of
it.
my love for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh my
And
gosh.
the Roonies are the owners of the Steelers.
That's
And,
amazing.
and
Whoa.
also, it's a kind of a fun name.
Whoa.
And
It
from
is.
there,
It is.
we came up with the title of every episode was something a Rooney.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, the
That's-
episodes.
I never put that together. That is, and you know, there's
That's
a
got to be
amazing.
such a cool moment too.
There's a whole
pretty cool.
generation of people like myself that when you hear Rooney, you think Liv and Maddie and not Steelers.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
Like,
amazing.
oh, yeah.
I frankly had no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you hear Rooney, I'm like, oh
That's
yeah, that's the
so
Liv
cool.
and
Yeah,
Maddie
it's Liv and
family.
Maddie.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I had no idea that was the name of the Steelers owner. That is amazing.
That's
That was all
hilarious.
me.
I was like,
Yeah.
hey, do you
love
know that the owner of the Steelers named themselves after Liv and
and
Maddie?
Maddie.
I actually did the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, the big newspaper, did a whole thing right before our first episode aired, and it
Wow.
was all about like my love of Pittsburgh and the
That's so
Steelers
good.
and how they were the Rooney.
Oh my
That's
gosh,
amazing.
that's
So
so
it got a
cool.
little press.
We are getting so much lore today. This has been
I know.
great.
I love like
Been
hearing
more about us, more about you, more about the show.
Oh my gosh,
This
yeah.
has been great.
I think you just answered a question that we kind of had written in about like your favorite reference that you gave into a show. I think the Rooney family takes the cake.
Oh yeah, that's so
Do
good.
you have any others in any of your projects that you snuck in? That's
Because
like,
isn't Twain
Well-
in an episode?
My son Twain is in
Yeah.
an episode, and in fact, so I have a son named Twain, and that's an uncommon name.
Best
And
name.
so Jordan Fisher's character, when we were creating the character, they wanted to come up with a name, and Ron and John came to me and said, "Would it be cool if we named him Twain?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think that would be fine." And then Disney got the name in like a beat sheet or something. They were like, "Nobody's named Twain."
No.
not realistic. Oh no.
So he became
no.
Holden.
Right.
Yeah,
But we did try to name a character after.
that would have been
That's-
cool.
My
That
child.
would have been cool.
But I will say the other episode, the other project was a film that I produced for Disney years ago. One of my favorite things, outside of Liv and Maddie, one of my favorite things I ever did was a movie called You Again.
Oh,
Which
I
is-
Love that movie.
So
a
good.
multi-generational family comedy with Kristen Bell and Jamie Lee Curtis and Sigourney Weaver
Yeah.
and Kristen Chenoweth
And the amazing Betty White.
and
Yes.
the amazing Betty White, the
Oh,
late
yeah.
great Betty White.
Yeah.
And Sigourney is this hotel tycoon, and she owns this hotel chain. And we couldn't clear anything. And we're literally sitting on set the day before
Wow.
we're shooting, and there's always a clearance department at every network, every
Right.
studio. And they just hadn't really gotten to the hotel part of the script yet. And we were
Right.
shooting it tomorrow, and they were like, nothing, this doesn't clear. We can't
Yeah.
clear this.
Oh.
And so all of us together on set came up with like 10 different words that the hotel chain could be, and
Yeah.
none of them cleared.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
crazy.
And now it's at the end of the day, and we're shooting this tomorrow, and we have like, what is the most uncommon thing we could call this hotel? And so they ended up calling it after my last name, the Sullenger. And
That's great.
and Kristen Bell says to Sigourney, "You mean you own the Sullenger?" And Sigourney says, Actually, it's the Sullenger group.
Yeah.
And my family was so delighted
Oh yeah.
when
man.
they
Yeah.
saw the movie, and Sigourney
They're like,
Weaver
our name
owned
is in that.
a hotel named after my family.
Wow.
That's so fun.
They're like, thank you. They're like,
Yeah.
now we've all made it, not
Yeah.
just you.
Now you can stop doing what you're doing.
Yeah, because we've made it
Because
too.
now we've made it too.
That's funny. It is nice to know that your last name made it somewhere,
Yeah.
and then the Steelers made
Thank
it somewhere.
God I
not
have
backwards.
an uncommon last
Right?
name. And the Rooney, you wouldn't think Rooney is that uncommon, but it's fairly uncommon.
Yeah, it is
Wow.
fairly uncommon.
That's
Well, okay, if you
hilarious.
haven't seen You Again, guys, it's such a good
Yeah.
movie.
Like-
It's
Definitely watch
so
You Again.
cute.
If
love
you
that
haven't,
movie.
go watch it right now. I
Yeah.
swear.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's always on a streamer. It's always on some streamer. And
Yes.
it's one of those movies where I hear from people I haven't seen in a couple of decades,
Yeah.
just out of the blue, and they'll say, "Oh my gosh, I just had this film from Netflix or Hulu or Disney Plus or whatever it was,
Yeah.
and I saw your name, and they were talking about a hotel that's named after you,
Sullenger.
and your name was at the end,
Sullenger.
and I loved them. Everybody who sees it loves it, and
Yeah.
anytime I get something completely out of the blue from somebody, I know that it's about you again.
Oh
That's
yeah.
so
We're
funny.
gonna go home tonight and watch it, and
I
we'll text
know.
you.
Our
And we're
favorite
like,
Easter egg
"Hey!"
though is the frame with Chambers in it.
My husband.
Your husband
Yes.
Chambers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that he makes a cameo in the movie. I think
Yeah,
it's
that's
great.
hilarious.
It makes us laugh every
It
time
makes us
because we know
laugh.
him.
He makes a cameo in the same scene that Dwayne Johnson
I was
makes
just
a
gonna
cameo.
say The
Yes,
Rock
he
was on the
does. That was
plane
cool.
too.
Having him, Chambers, and The Rock in the same frame, that would be
That was
All-star cast.
All-star
That
cast.
Just, yeah.
And if you're a fan of Heathers,
uh-huh.
the original, very, very, very original, like reading cast, there is a steward, a flight attendant on the flight. Her name is Heather.
Oh.
And Kristen Bell had been Veronica in the very, very beginning of Heathers. And so Jenna Lee Green plays Heather, the flight attendant. And she and Kay Bell get very snarky with each other.
Oh yeah.
And she calls her Heather.
As they should.
And so that's actually a nod to Heathers for people who
That's
love Heathers.
I
amazing.
love that.
There's
That's
all
so
I
kinds
love
of
how
fun
many
in it.
like individual moments there are. Just
That's
with
part of the fun of
callbacks.
doing all this stuff is
Right?
you just put in all these little things, even if it's
Yeah.
only for you and people you know and love.
Yeah.
And then one day you can sit on a podcast and you can
And
talk
you can
about
talk
that.
about it.
Exactly.
Well, it is
Very
an
kind of-
honor that we're doing it on our podcast. So
Yes.
thank you. We appreciate that. You're not on, someone
Yeah.
else's show. So we appreciate that.
Yeah.
That is so fun.
Yeah. You again must have just been so fun though with the cast. Just like you mentioned, like Kristen Chenoweth, Kristen Bell. I think Victor Garber's in it too, right?
Oh,
Victor
yeah.
Her and
Yeah.
Kristen Chenoweth. It's basically Kristen Bell discovers that her beloved brother, who she adores, has had this whirlwind romance, and he's getting married to this girl. And she flies home to meet the girl for like all of the wedding kind of escapades. And she finds out that the girl is the person who bullied her all the way through high school,
Yes.
and the
Oh,
girl
man.
acts like she has absolutely no memory of Kay Bell at all.
Yeah. Oh,
And
man.
then you have Sigourney and Jamie Lee Curtis, who are the mom / aunt,
Yeah.
and they have the same dynamic with
Yes.
each other, which is
Yep.
really fun. And so Betty White plays the grandmother.
Uh-huh.
And so, like, towards the end, like, we were getting close to shooting it, and we were like, man, it just feels like the most perfect button for this film. Just the very end that we meet Betty's high school bully.
Yes.
That would be
It's-
just like, that would just bring it
Yeah.
all full circle. And
Yes.
then we thought, well, who would play Betty White's high school
Who could
nemesis?
possibly hate Betty White? Like,
Yeah.
who would believably hate Betty
And
White?
for those of us who grew up on the Mary Tyler Moore Show, Betty's character, Sue Ann, was mortal enemies with Phyllis because Betty's character, Sue Ann, slept with Phyllis's husband, Lars.
Oh no.
Oh man.
And so they were mortal enemies, and that was Phyllis was played by Cloris Leachman, who I've now done 2 films with Cloris Leachman.
Wow.
And it was so delightful to be on set,
Yeah.
and they've been good friends for 50 plus years.
Good friends, but also good enemies on
And
on
excellent
screen.
enemies. And they just got to like hang out on set while we were waiting for this huge scene to be set up. And
Yeah.
it was so cute just watching them
It's like
together, like
Yeah.
catching up. And it was like, oh my gosh, it's Sue Ann and Phyllis.
I was like, I can't believe I'm standing in this room.
Cool. That's a great
Someone was
aha
like,
moment.
That's a
they're
great
getting
aha
along.
moment.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
in your head, they never get along.
Yeah, they're
Yes,
mortal
and
enemies, so they're-
Cloris was kind of famous for being difficult to get along with.
Yeah.
But Betty, everybody revered Betty so much, and she was she was everything that you want Betty White to be.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so whenever Cloris was with Betty, best behavior. Like, and it was
wow.
just
Yeah.
really, they were
That's
so
hilarious.
I love
sweet
that.
together.
Yeah.
But
That
that
is so
for me,
cute.
because I grew up on Mary Tyler Moore show, that was a big deal for me, and
Yes.
that was a big aha moment.
That's
We'll have to
amazing.
watch that show. We did a rewatch of the Dick Van Dyke Show and loved it.
So
I
good.
mean,
That
yeah.
one was so fun.
So good. Well,
Yeah.
Mary Tyler Moore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I know.
Mary
We need to
Tyler,
go
and
see her
now we
show.
need to go watch her show.
I know. Every
We
time I
loved
hear
Dick
the
Van
Mary
Dyke Show.
Tyler Moore show, I actually think of the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Of course.
Because it was
Because-
starring Mary Tyler Moore. Was
Exactly.
like the headline.
And so now I'm like, man, we got to go watch the Mary Tyler Moore show
Yeah.
so that we can have both.
Yeah,
I don't
so-
know, the whole TV universe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
yeah,
it's just
I
a
know
great
it's
show.
not,
Yeah.
but still.
Yeah.
yeah.
No.
No, I would. We definitely need to
The-
put it on the list since we've seen her in Dick Van Dyke Show.
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
great.
Well, Mary Tyler Moore, though, was also was a groundbreaking show because she played a divorcee. And nobody had ever made a TV show. And especially Mary Tyler Moore, who was America's sweetheart.
Yeah,
Right.
who would possibly
Playing a
divorce
divorce-
Mary
yeah.
Tyler Moore?
I
No,
know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
even yeah.
that's so unbelievable.
So when you watch Mary Tyler Moore in the context that it actually aired in, it was truly, there were so many things about that show. It's funny and it's smart and all of those things. But within the context of when it aired, it was also groundbreaking. And that's what it's easy to overlook sometimes.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
I totally agree
Well,
with
it's
that.
so interesting when you try and like look back, or sometimes like people try to explain stuff to us from that era, and it's hard because like they set the tone, right? Because we see something now and we're like, oh, they
Yeah.
used this same plot line or this same dynamic in a show that we grew up with, but this one happened like
I do that
way
with my
before.
son all the time, and he'll be like, I'm not sure I totally get it. And so then you have to explain, well, but here's the context.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
this had never been done. Like
right.
now,
like
you're,
I Love Lucy invented the
Yeah,
sitcom.
yes.
Right? It's like it invented
when you
the
think of
multi-camera.
like The Matrix, and
Yeah.
now like
Slow-mo.
everything is shot like The Matrix,
Yeah.
and you try to explain, yes, but when The Matrix came out, we
It
had
was
never seen
awesome.
anything.
Exactly.
When Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon came out, we had never seen anything like that.
Right.
And now you go to Shang-Chi, and it's just the way it is.
Oh yeah, yes,
Right.
That's,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
how you do that kind of movie. Now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they set the tone for
Well,
it.
and whenever anyone says, "Oh my gosh, what an obvious plot twist," and they're watching an old movie, I'm like, that invented that plot twist.
Yes.
Right, yeah,
That
it's not
didn't
an obvious-
exist
Okay,
before.
this
it
is
wasn't
almost-
obvious.
This is almost too perfect of a segue that I have to call out the fact that it's a segue. Otherwise, it would just be like that was cringy.
Oh,
But-
But you have written Hallmark movies,
yes.
which have a formula, but you also want yours to stand out in a unique way, and yours did. When we, I mean, it stands out.
Yeah,
Aw.
it's amazing.
It really
we love
is.
that movie.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I'm curious how you write a movie like a Hallmark movie, but still keep your own original twist on it,
Yes.
but keep it within the bounds of a Hallmark movie. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you know, Hallmark is actually, it's a little like working for Disney in that Hallmark is a very specific brand.
Yes.
It knows its audience very well.
Yes.
Has very strong brand identity. And loves and respects its audience,
Yeah.
most importantly.
Yeah.
But you're creating kind of in a box,
Right.
which working all of those years at Disney between films and television, you learn how to create it in a, like, you know, at the time we were doing things for Disney, they would prefer that you kill off a parent rather than have mom and dad divorce
Yeah.
because they
Oh,
felt
man.
like for kids of divorce, that's too hard for them
Right.
to watch.
Right, right.
Yeah.
You know, there are all of these rules, and Hallmark also has its own rules. And I actually like, a lot of people feel constricted
Yeah.
by working creatively in that kind of box. I actually find it freeing because then I know where my boundaries are, and I
Right.
know what my target is. I know where my bullseye is.
Yeah.
So yes, Hallmark is very specific. Hallmark Christmas movies, I've written a couple of those.
Uh-huh.
Those are super specific.
Yeah.
And the hardest part, I love writing for Hallmark. It just makes me so happy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so joyful. Like, I get to wake up in a random day in June. Like, all of last June, I wrote the movie that aired this past Christmas. And it's so much fun to wake up in June and to write a Christmas movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
so cool.
That's got to be the best.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you put like your Christmas tree up to get you in the mindset? Or
We had finally just taken the Christmas
Oh,
tree
you
down.
just
I was
taken it
like,
down.
okay.
Okay.
My husband was very sweet and was like, let's just keep the Christmas tree up. And at some point I was like, I can't have the Christmas
I'm done with that.
but in part because I want Christmas to feel special.
Oh,
Let's put it back up.
Let it kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
But the hardest part of writing a Christmas movie is coming up with Christmas things that haven't been done 100 times
Yes.
before.
Yeah.
That's really the hardest part. I'm writing something for Hallmark right now. It's my first non-Christmas movie.
Oh, wow.
It is set in Greece.
Ooh.
that's
And it's I was like, I have to write something that's not Christmas, so so that I
Yes.
don't have to try to come up with all new because Hallmark makes like over 50 Christmas movies a
Right.
year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
their
to-
bread and butter. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
so to
everything.
find something that hasn't been done
Yeah,
in
and a Hallmark.
Hallmark.
Yeah.
I did
Almost
something
impossible.
on my Hallmark movie that aired this last Christmas. That was Christmas Bingo.
That was
Yeah.
Oh my
brilliant.
gosh.
I
my
want to play.
favorite piece.
Like,
I want to play Christmas
I
Bingo.
want to play Christmas Bingo. Sorry,
Okay.
I'll let you tell them what it is.
No,
but
I
wanna play.
I have a Christmas bingo thing that I made, a board that I made. And by the way, one of our relatives in Nashville, I gave it to her, and she spent all of December doing all of the things,
That's
and
so
she would
good.
take
Gosh.
pictures every time she was doing something and sent. Because I said I have to see pictures of everything
Yeah.
you did.
Yeah.
But it was just like, I mean, you can watch the movie. It's called A Novel Noel.
A
Yes,
Novel
I was about
Noel.
to say, I'm like,
Go
oh, wait, we
watch
haven't
it.
said the name yet. Yeah.
And there's a Christmas bingo, and people can make up their own Christmas bingo things. That's what I did. But that was like shockingly something that had never been done before.
Wow.
And I got more reaction like on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube
Yeah.
from people who got so excited over the Christmas bingo.
Yeah, it looks so fun, and I think people are always looking for a fun way to celebrate the holidays. And
Yeah.
something like Christmas Bingo is unique, and it's like a brand new concept.
Well, and it's
but it
good.
also makes sense because everybody knows how to play bingo, right?
Well,
The only thing people like more than old traditions is the ability to make a new tradition.
Yeah.
So that's the fun thing about a bingo card.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
But you get to do the new tradition with, like, it's go caroling,
Right.
Exactly.
or go ice skating,
Yes.
or
Have a Christmas cookie or eat.
or build a gingerbread house. Like it's not that they're things that you've never necessarily done before, but
Right.
sometimes, especially I think as you get older, you need an excuse to do those things.
yeah.
Yes.
Like every Thanksgiving, my son and I do a gingerbread house.
Oh yeah.
And that's like our Thanksgiving weekend tradition. And then I leave it up on the kitchen table through the holidays.
yeah.
And everybody loves those traditions, but sometimes we just get so busy
Oh yeah.
during Christmas that it's kind of nice to have a thing, especially if you're competing with other people.
Yes.
Yeah.
To get through it first, to be like, well, today I have to make homemade eggnog.
Yeah.
I've never done that
because-
before,
Because
right?
that's what the bingo card says I have to
That's
do.
right.
So I'm gonna go make eggnog today.
Yeah.
And like you said, I've made eggnog before, but now it's kind of a fun challenge, right?
Right.
Where it's like,
Yeah.
we're playing Christmas bingo.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you guys have picked up on the concept of Christmas bingo, but
It
it's
is.
basically a bingo card with a bunch of activities that you should do over the holidays, and then throughout the season you go and check it off the list.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but it's really fun, and it plays well in the movie, and it's something that we definitely want to play in real life now.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
I'll give you cards.
Thank you.
Well, and something that makes it so fun about Christmas Bingo is where Kara talked about like old traditions versus new traditions. You're kind of doing old traditions, but in a new way with the bingo card.
Yeah.
When the movie came out, we had so many friends and family that were like, "We want to play this next year with you
Yeah.
guys."
Yeah.
And they would like DM us or comment or text us.
The movie came out and we're like, oh my gosh, this is great. We have to tell everyone.
Yeah, we
so
told
we did
everyone.
just like a little personal Facebook post about it, and everyone's like, where can we get a bingo card?
Yeah.
Like, where
I was
do we
proud
do
of
this?
how many of our friends went and watched the movie because a lot of them love Hallmark Christmas movies already. So
Yeah.
then we're like, how about this one? They're like, done. And like they'd watched it in like a day.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
funny how
that's so
fast it was.
sweet.
And we could actually tell when they watched it because they would text us about Christmas bingo. Like we never asked them or anything.
No.
We just sent them the movie, and then they're like,
And they're
It's
like-
just amazing. Like that was the thing.
Yeah.
That every once in a while you create something, and then this thing that you never think anything about becomes the thing that people just connect with. By the
Yeah.
way, I love a good bingo game.
Oh, yeah.
So I
Yeah.
do kind of get it, but I wasn't expecting that level of enthusiasm for Christmas bingo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Our whole community of people that we know and love are all like, we need to play Christmas bingo.
Yeah.
So,
That was a big one for
We
sure.
have cards.
yes,
Cool,
we'll
cool.
make it happen for friends and family watching. We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. That's so fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
This has been too much fun.
I-
I've had
Oh my
such a good
gosh.
time.
We could talk to you for another hour about anything.
I know.
Really, like
I know.
any
Those
number of
things that
things.
we haven't even hit yet. That we
I think
could've
we can
talked about.
definitely. We need another episode.
We definitely
I
need
know.
another Betsy
Yes.
episode.
Oh, I'm
This is
not that
fun.
interesting. You
Oh,
guys.
no.
We didn't
I
talk
don't
about One True Loves yet. We didn't talk about.
But we didn't talk about my other Christmas Disney movie.
Oh,
Christmas
Exactly.
again.
Christmas Again, which is on Disney Plus, and it's delightful all year long.
It
You
is.
don't have
That's
to wait
another
for
good one.
Christmas.
It is. It's the classic. It's the classic Christmas tale.
Like repeated Christmas.
Ever
It's
repeated
Groundhog
Christmas.
Day at Christmas.
Yes.
With Scarlett Estevez, who is a Disney kid and is completely delightful, and it's a great cast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That is
We
a
loved
great
watching
movie.
that
Oh my
one.
gosh.
It's so cute.
I could definitely go into that for another long time, but I love the spin it puts on it that makes it feel so fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like I can imagine that would have been hard to get to with a movie of that format. And I don't know, you guys just crushed it.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
It
I don't
worked.
know.
Yeah.
We like so much of what you do.
I know, we
like,
do.
We literally
Yes.
we have Betsy watch parties all the time.
All the time.
Where he's like
Aw,
watch your
that's
movies
so
and
sweet.
yeah, the things you worked
I
on.
like
so.
making things that I know will make me. It's the reason I love working for Disney,
Mm-hmm.
and I love writing for Hallmark because those are both places that I go for my entertainment. Those
Yeah.
are things that make me happy.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And you get to be part of that joy, which is pretty
I
cool.
get to be part of that. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
incredible.
No,
It's
it is
amazing.
really cool. It is really fun. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for
Yeah, thank
sharing
you
your
for coming
stories
on.
Yeah.
and chatting with us, and we just had the best time.
I feel like we just had the conversation that we have pretty much anytime we're together. We just happen to do it with
Yes.
microphones.
I
And
agree.
honestly, that is the goal of this show.
Yeah.
Because
That
I'm
was-
like, these are such fun conversations.
I know.
I'd love to share them with you guys and thank you guys for watching.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like, yeah, you
that
guys
was the
make
whole
this
goal. Like we
extra
said, awesome
special.
people, awesome stories, and
I will say, in
Betsy
this,
was like top of our list. And we're like, who's someone we know that we've gotten to spend really good amounts of time with that we would love to just kind of share
some of
awesome
our
stories.
conversations.
Yeah, some of
Yeah.
I know. At some
conversations.
point, I forgot that we weren't just like sitting at your house talking. 'Cause
I know.
with the table and everything, I was like, I forgot about
Yeah.
all the things around us.
Waiting
Yeah.
for Cupcake to walk around
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Betsy's
love
pet
Cupcake.
cat.
Yeah.
I love
Cupcake, my
Cupcake.
cat.
I miss Cupcake.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, let us know in the comments. And thank you, Betsy. Everyone say,
Yeah.
Betsy, you're amazing in
Yes.
the comments. She
Yes.
was so good.
Yay. Thank you
So-
guys for having me. I always love talking about happy memories.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it was
was
great.
great.
And something we talked about doing for a long time, and I'm so glad
I know,
we
it's
are
done.
here doing
Finally
It is.
did
Amazing.
it.
I
Yeah.
know. I'm so proud of us all.
Great.
All right. Well, thank you
right.
guys.
Thank
Be
you
sure,
so much.
Be sure to subscribe and
Yes.
follow and all
We'll
the
see you on the
things.
next
All the good
video.
things.
Yeah, and share with someone who you think would love this episode.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
That's totally awesome.